Welcome back. Now in this video, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and produce a video for screencast.com, and then we want to use the embed tool to our WordPress website. So what we're going to do is we're just going to produce a video. We're going to assume that this video is already an interactive video. So we're not going to go through the process of creating another interactive video. We're just going to go ahead and create the video and upload to screencast.com. Okay, so the upload process is completing. And you're going to notice that you now have an embed code. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and copy that embed code. We're going to head on over to our WordPress site. And we get to WordPress, what we're going to do is we're going to just add a new post. And we're going to use the text box. So we're going to write in a title, and then we're going to embed our content. Okay, so we're going to just drop that text in there. And then we're just going to click Publish. Now what we can do is we can take a look at our post. And what we're going to notice is that this video is really taking up too much space in this frame. So we're probably going to have to adjust it. So we can assume that all the way across is going to be about 900 pixels. So if we are someplace in the area of 400 or 500 wide, that should help us in some way. So we're going to go into the code and we're going to change the width to 640 by 480. And one of the reasons why we're doing that, of course, is that maintains the aspect ratio. So in other words, 1920 by 1080, we want to try to keep this as close as we can to the aspect ratio. So we've done that by going to 640 by 480. We're going to update our post. And now we're going to take a look at it again. Okay, so our video now fits in our post. So we want to make sure that if we're going to be giving instructions for our interactive video, that we have those instructions here and that we title this appropriately. But what we have now is we have the ability to put our interactive video on a specific page on the web. We're going to use our WordPress site to do that. And if we already have a WordPress site that we're using, we can embed this code. The video will serve from screencast.com and it will be interactive. And that's going to be important in something that we are going to do in a future video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to go over what we can do with our markers if we want to section off different parts of the video. And we can do that with a table of contents. And all we have to do is use our marker code. We want to make sure that our marker is showing. When our marker bar is showing, we mark off the different points that we want. Now, obviously, we're doing this arbitrarily. You would obviously do this according to your content. Then we would rename each marker. Okay, so now that we have our chapters lined up, we have them marked off, what's going to happen is that Camtasia, when it produces the video, it's going to give people the opportunity to skip ahead through different elements of the video based on the chapters that we have designated. Now again, this is another interactive video, and the only way they're going to be able to do that is if they use the smart player. So we can have this on screencast.com or we can have it on our server. And one of the things that we like to show you in this video is how the filing system works and how you would actually put it on your server. We've already seen how you'd put it on screencast.com. But now let's go ahead and process this video. We can walk through the table of contents process, and then we can actually see how the file structure will be. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and we're going to now create a local file. And now that we have the custom production settings, we can go forward. We're going to choose the smart player. And then we're going to customize our actual player. Now, to skip ahead, we're just going to work with the table of contents. We want to make sure it's ready and that it's searchable. Then we're going to click Next. Now, we're going to have one more screen after this, and we're going to click Next. And we're actually going to now be able to dictate what our table of contents is going to be like. We can fix it to the right or fix it to the left. We can have text with thumbnail. We can number marker the entries. So we've got some flexibility over what our table of contents is actually going to look like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click Next. And we're going to go ahead and produce our project. And one of the things you're going to see right off the bat is we're going to have a number of files that are going to be available to us. So now we're just going to click Finish. And then we're going to let the project start its rendering. Now the video is complete, and you can see that we have our table of contents. It's clickable. But now this video is now on our hard drive. What we're going to do now is we're going to take those files, and we're now going to upload them to our server. So we're going to come back here and open our production folder. Here are all the files, and so now what we're going to do is we're going to upload them to a site. And so now the same file can be served from our server and can be represented here on our site. So the same smart player is there, the same level of interactivity is there. It's now on our site and not on screencast.com. Welcome back. Now in the last video we talked about the fact that we can have In the last couple of videos, we talked about the fact that we can have these interactive videos on individual web pages. And so now it's time to talk about, well, what can we do inside that interactivity? Having a table of contents is great. It may or may not necessarily direct people in the way that we want. It doesn't necessarily elicit information from them. It does make for a more pleasant experience for the user. However, using hotspots is one way for us to be able to direct a user who's watching our video to take an action. And so when we actually use, we're going to go into the annotations, and we're going to grab the interactive hotspot, and what we want to do is want to pick a period, a specific period of time where our video is. And we want to do something with that video. We want the user to have to click something. Now, the most important thing when you do this is to remember that you're going to have to give the user some instructions. So this might be a point at which you are going to give them, you're going to write something in here. Right? You might write something in here. We're going to go ahead and leave that one there. We might write something in here like, right? So we give them some instructions. Click explain if you want to talk to someone personally. And we want the hotspot then to do something, right? We want them to click on that word explain, and then we want something to be able to happen when that happens. And so we want to do something over here in the properties. And we can have it so that someone, when they click it, they actually go to a URL. Basically what we're trying to do in this hotspot is we're trying to get the user to do something. And again, if you combine this with being able to be on a specific web page and have this interactive video where you're going to give them some information, and then at each point you're going to compel them to a call to action, and when they take that call to action, send them to a specific website, you then have interactive marketing and customer service, keeping them engaged. And we go beyond trying to entertain or just inform people, but to get them to take some kind of action. And that's really what interactive hotspots are at the heart of. And we can do that very simply by making our button clickable and by making sure that the video does not go any further until they take some kind of action. Now we want to make sure that our words are at the same point at which the hotspot comes, so that the user then starts to understand, okay, well, maybe if I click this, then something will move on. Everything depends on the kind of instructions that you're able to give. So when someone clicks a certain link, if they want to talk to someone personally, what's a good thing for us to do? Well, the good thing for us to do is to try to get some information from them, right? Is to try to figure out, maybe to try to help the person who's going to be taking the call, or to help the person who's going to be serving that person, to try to find out a little bit more about them. And we want to be able to send that person to a place where they can give us some information. And that's really where our surveys come in. And so this URL can be a page on your WordPress site with another interactive video. Basically, what we're doing is we are figuring out ways for us to chain together the interactivity. So we're not just informing, we're getting involved with the customer, and we're actually getting information from them, hopefully. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video.